everybody, I'm Jammer, and an interesting development happened today in regards to Smash Bros. A leak came out. And you know me, I usually don't cover just random leaks that are going around, random posts on 4chan that are just laughable. So you know, if I'm going to be making a video about a leak, it's at least somewhat credible. Well, more I should put, it's worth talking about. Because unlike previous leaks we've seen throughout the past year, it's none have really carried any weight. There is some sort of credibility to this leak, because we not only got a screenshot, but also some in-game footage. So if you haven't been up to date with any of the leak and you want to go in spoiler-free, in case this is real, obviously look away or come back later or whatever. In this video, I wanted to take the time to not only get my thoughts out there on this leak, but also take a moment to kind of break it down and kind of discuss what different avenues this could mean, whether it's real or fake. Without further ado, let's get started. A picture was posted on 4chan of 3 characters being on the new hero stage, 2 of which being Mii fighters sporting brand new Mii costumes. First wearing a Mallow hat from Super Mario RPG, and the other wearing a Cacodemon. Cackadoodle. I think that's right. And the other wearing a Cackadoodle Demon helmet. And of course, that is a classic enemy from the Doom series. So of course, this sent everyone into a spiral of, you know, immediately assuming that both, not only Gino would be confirmed as a fighter, also of course, Doom Guy from Doom, a Bethesda property. Now, let's first break down why this is convincing at all. Not only is it a pretty high quality in-game, what we think is in-game screenshot, beyond that, we also get actually real-time footage of it. So in that way, we're able to kind of pick it apart. It's not just some 3D modeling work. It's not just some Photoshop mock-up. It's actually running, and it looks like it's actually working in-game in Ultimate. In the gameplay, we do see Ken do an uppercut, and there was a little bit of a controversy based on the damage output he does. It was later found that yes, it does still match up one-to-one with what Ken currently does. Initially, people were thinking maybe it did more damage, so this could be indicating this could be some part of this new patch coming up, and Ken could be doing a different damage output because it would align with a new kind of balancing pattern. I don't know, it was kind of a mix, but upon close look, it does look like Ken is still doing the same normal amount of damage that he currently is in the current build of Smash. Another convincing aspect is how the timer in the upper this hand corner is statically staying at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Why this is particularly special is in the previous Ken leak screenshot that we'd seen before the release of Ultimate, which we'll talk about more in a second. In that leak, it was a picture of a debug mode, and it showed that, again, default 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So in the development build of Smash Bros, potentially this is kind of just the number they just leave up at the top of the screen as a default value while they can test and play around with whatever they have to do to balance the patch or whatever's coming out next. However, that being said, being able to just content aware fill that little corner and overlay it with a new text, or just even freeze framing the numbers at 230, it's totally an easy thing to do in a post-production video. So if this was fake, so if they did record this in some sort of modded version of Smash, they could easily overlay some sort of thing onto a video file to kind of show that 230, and it wouldn't be able to be picked up nearly as much as it would if we saw this raw video file. That's why there's, you know, the camera away from screen type deal. Because there was that argument, it's like, well, if you're running this on a Switch, there's literally a capture button. Why isn't this leak or whoever it is just clicking capture for the screenshot or even holding it down for the video? I mean, even though I've been kind of contradicting most of my points saying why it's convincing, one last point I want to mention why it can be considered convincing is, well, the models themselves. Well, I think I'd be more inclined to believe it if they were like full body costumes, like a Sans or whatever, and not just a Mii hat. Because as far as a Mii costume hat, theoretically, it's going to be a lot more easier to create because it's just really a static 3D model, you know, and you can just chuck that onto a Mii. Meaning there's no unique animations going on. It's not like they have to completely develop some new character. It's not just a costume palette swap. It's really just attaching on another 3D model. In the specific case of Mallow's costume hat, I mean, it's pretty simple, but I mean, that's just the character anyways. It does look kind of similar to what a previous Smash Wii U mod was, where there was the Mallow hat. It could be subtly different enough, but there's also not much you could do to differentiate a Mallow hat if there was one. The one that is interesting, though, is the Cackodemon's helmet hat thing, because that is, you know, as far as we can tell, a brand new model, and it does seem to be fitting the aesthetic and like the more cartoonish vibe of course Smash Bros. But again, a talented 3D modeler could totally take a stab at it and make something effective enough to work for, what, a 10-second leak. But all I've been saying is going on the idea that this is just some mod of Smash Bros. You know, this, like, all my skepticism, all my contradictions are just on the idea that maybe this is just some sort of modded Smash Ultimate, right? But the issue lies right there, because so far there has been no possible way to mod Mii Fighter costumes into Smash Ultimate. So far, modders have been able to like do alt color reskins, but they've never been able to completely fully model swap for characters, costumes, or whatever. In Smash Wii U, yes, it was completely possible that people were able to mod in entirely new models of characters as well as Mii Fighter costumes, so there was no question there. But so far, as it currently stands, it has never been possible for someone to be able to mod in. I'm sorry, I keep getting blinded by this light. I have the blind shut, but it's just that powerful right now. I'm sorry if it's just going crazy on my face. I'll try to like lean back more. But anyway, so far as it stands, there's never been a possible way to mod a Mii Fighter costume in Smash Ultimate. But that's also not to say that maybe it's possible now. Maybe this leaker was able to figure it out and also was able to make some sort of fake leak to back, you know, his findings of being able to mod in a brand new costume. I don't know. I mean, that's going out on a limb, of course. But it's definitely worth talking about, as it could be a potential avenue that this leak could have came from. So that's kind of my thoughts, like breaking down the leak and some of my skepticalness in regards to some of its aspects, of course, but here are some of my thoughts just around the idea of this leak in general. In the first pass, it kind of just feels too convenient, because it's, you know, basically confirming two of the most highly requested and popular characters / series for Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. People have been clamoring for both Geno as well as the Doom guy for nearly since before the release of Ultimate. So all of a sudden, a perfectly fitting leak confirming both of them at the same time, it just feels a little too convenient, you know? Beyond that, since it would be confirming these two fighters, it's confirming an additional fighter beyond the Fighter Pass. I mean, we already know that DLC will be continuing past the Fighter Pass. And of course, we don't know at what point the development team is on right now. I mean, of course, they're probably trying to wrap up working on Terry, and it's definitely to be assumed they're at least working on whatever next character it's gonna be. So they could be two fighters ahead past the Fighter Pass, but at the same time, it's like they're already implementing Mii Fighter costumes that'll go alongside with future DLC newcomers. So anyways, let's go over each of the case scenarios that this leak implies. If it's fake, and no harm, no whatever, right? But I think if it's real, there's a couple of different avenues we could go with this. First off, if it's real, it's maybe assumed that these Mii Fighters will also come alongside the respective newcomers from each, you know, series. Like I previously mentioned, it feels a little too soon to show these newcomers off. I mean, even if we get some sort of Terry Direct within the next few weeks or whatever, while there might be some sort of hint towards whatever fighter is coming up next, or even a reveal for the next one, I don't think we'd be getting a reveal for 2 in a row, you know? They could be further along in the developments of these new fighters, but it just feels weird to be seeing these tie-in Mii Fighter costumes well before the release of the actual fighter that would come with it, you know? Which kind of leads into the other alternate path that potentially could be of this, what could happen? It could be that they are just Mii Fighter costumes, and perhaps Geno as well as Doom Guy will also be coming as well as Mii Fighter costumes in a Mii Fighter costume pack. The reason this makes a little bit more sense is, you know, if we're assuming this leak is real, and we see of course, Mallow and the Kako Demon as Mii Fighter costumes in the current development build of Smash Bros., it would make more sense that these new fighter costumes will come along the next patch for Smash Bros. 6.0 or whatever. That being assumed, they'd come alongside with Terry Bogard. And with each newcomer so far, we have gotten a round of a couple of Mii Fighter costumes here, some tying into the current newcomer coming, and some not, representing different series, like throwing in different Mega Man characters, and sometimes just completely other different series that just need to be there. I mean, perfect example, Sans. I mean, Sans had nothing to do with Banjo-Kazooie, but he came alongside with Banjo, right? The point I'm trying to make is, in their Mii Fighter costume showcase after showing off Terry Bogard, they could have a Mii Fighter costume pack that have some Super Mario RPG characters as well as some Doom characters. That of course would include the currently leaked Mallow as well as Kako Demon, and beyond that, potentially a full-blown Geno costume again from Smash Wii U, as well as a brand new Doom Guy, Doom Marine from Doom. Especially in the case of Doom, it does make a lot more sense, because while a lot of people have loved to see some sort of incorporation of Bethesda property, or specifically Doom, to be in Smash Bros., it would be a lot easier to incorporate that. Oh my gosh, the light is so bad. I need to fix this. You know, it would just be a lot easier for the development team to be able to incorporate Doom Guy into Smash if he was just a Mii Fighter costume, but just because of, you know, I don't know, the violent nature that is Doom Guy, and how could you make him a full-blown fighter in Smash if you're not best reflecting his series and kind of what he does in his games by sawing people in half and stuff. Of course, if there's a will, there's a way. But what I'm trying to say is it would just be a little bit easier for them to just be like, oh, here he is as a Mii Fighter costume. So then, you know, all the violent nature of that character can kind of be put aside because it's like, oh, he's just a Mii Fighter costume. You know, he's the Mii Gunner or whatever. I know that would disappoint a lot of people, of course, because then they rather than looking at as like Sans being confirmed for Smash, they'd more see it as a martyr of, look, another character being deconfirmed by a Mii costume. And I totally get that perspective. But this could be a situation where Sakurai and the development team are trying their best to satisfy the fans because they've heard all the cries of fans wanting not only Geno but also Doomguy in Smash. So maybe this is a attempt to do their best to incorporate those characters into Ultimate, but just because they couldn't make a full-blown character for them, they're hoping at least the Mii Fighter costume will be better than nothing. And perhaps even with the Geno case, maybe it's not just the one-to-one same Smash Wii U costume. Perhaps the Geno headpiece gets a full-blown Geno mask, and it's not just like the stupid-looking Mii face wearing the hat, you know? So then you actually get a more full-blown looking Mii Fighter costume, similar to like Sans and everything. And another point to add on to all this is, you know, having Mii Fighter costumes tying in a brand new third-party series into Smash is nothing new. We've had Lloyd Irving from the Tales of Symphonia series. We have Heihachi from Tekken. Of course, both those costumes currently aren't in Smash Ultimate, but they were tied in with at least Smash Wii U. There's also been other examples as well, like Tower of Durga. There was the one guy from the last Direct. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what he was, but that's him. Point being is they, in the past, and still in this game, have represented a brand new third-party series solely with Mii costumes alone. And yes, that's not like the preferred method, and obviously everyone would rather have a full-blown character. I just hope that if it is end up being this situation, perhaps, you know, these new reveals will be greeted with the same sort of appreciation that Sans was, you know. But it's a tricky situation because for the longest time, everyone just hated the fact that Mii Fighter costumes deconfirmed everything, and Sans has been the only exception in Smash history. I think it's more in that case because they did it right by, you know, not only making it a full-blown costume rather than being like a Mii cosplaying as Sans, but beyond that, even coming with its own musical track, like really sold the deal, you know. And so if we do see some sort of Doomguy Marine or Geno coming inevitably as a Mii Fighter costume rather than a full-blown newcomer in, you know, the Fighter Pass or whatever, I'd love to see them come with like some sort of musical track and still get hopefully the support of the community that way, the similar way that Sans did. So yeah, in conclusion, I'm definitely leaning more on real. I'm definitely still skeptic. I mean, there's definitely some things that are a little fishy, you know. And it could be some sort of, somehow the guy figured out how to mod the Ultimate and put in new costumes, and he figured it out and did it first and made a leak out of it. That's totally still a possibility. But I personally think if it is real, I don't know if it's going to be likely indicating towards full-blown characters. Rather, maybe just coming with the newest patch of Smash Bros. With Terry Bogard. And these new Mii costumes will be, you know, within the new Mii Fighter set that'll be coming out, which of course would be a bummer, but who's really to say? I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this leak? Do you think it indicates towards just Mii Fighters all around? Do you think it does indicate towards later fighters in the future? You know, the fifth and final Fighter Pass fighter, as well as, you know, a potential sixth one past Fighter Pass? Or do you think it's just fake, and it's just someone getting trying to get everyone's hopes up? Definitely let me know that in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a big, awesome like, and if you haven't already, definitely subscribe for tons more on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So as soon as we get more development on this leak, or if we're going to get any more development, obviously I'll be sure to update you guys with that as well. In addition to definitely look forward to the inevitable release of Terry. Of course, I'll do a reaction to the live stream direct when they show that off, as well as coverage once the character is out too. So thanks again, guys, so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!